Pretty people are treated differently. There are those who admire them solely for their looks, and those who are envious of them due to their own insecurities and complicated relationship to beauty. From beauty trends on TikTok to celebrity culture, we are all aware of how superficial our society can be. We throw out quotes like, "Don't judge a book by its cover," to remind ourselves appearances are not the only thing someone has to offer. But in this judgmental world that always like to tell you what's wrong with you, it's difficult to not have your confidence slowly wither away. For this video, we will be discussing 3 unique perspectives on attractiveness and how to find contentment regardless of how you look. We will be doing that through the characters of Mika, Yuzu, and of course, Mitsumi from Skip and Loafer. As someone probably the most affected by beauty standards out of these 3, we'll start off with Mika. My first impression of Mika is a pick-me girl, not a girl's girl. For those who don't know what a pick-me girl is, it's a woman who obsessively desires male approval and validation, often at the expense of other women. Typically, they will be cold or mean to other women and act nice and sweet once men are around. Mika initially wasn't interested in becoming friends with Mitsumi, but when she saw Shima, an attractive guy, ask for Mitsumi's number, Mika quickly changed her mind and even offered to share contacts with Mitsumi. Once Mika realized Mitsumi and Shima had chemistry together, that they looked good together, she told Mitsumi not to let it get to her head. She feels threatened by the beautiful and smart Yuzuki and is quick to act sweet in front of the hot guy Shima. But thankfully, the anime shows us a deeper look into Mika's personality than this. Beneath her shiny facade lies a girl terrified of being treated as invisible again. From a young age, Mika was made aware of how looks played a huge factor in how people treated her. Because of her weight, she was made to feel invisible. She vowed to work as hard as she could, to shine as brightly as she could, to separate herself from her dark past. She joined, quote, shiny clubs, unquote, like volleyball, made friends with popular people, and studied fashion to the bone. Also, she had no chance to feel invisible again. But instead of being happy, Mika feels bitter. The moment someone triggers the feeling of being invisible in her, she starts to feel resentful towards that person. She falsely assumes that she'd gain happiness from being popular and well-liked, not realizing that she was burying her hatred for her former self under a pile of glitter. Like Mika, a lot of us think or once have thought that our lives would be much easier if we were more attractive. That it would be easier to find a partner only if our faces were more symmetrical or shaped more like a V. But is being attractive really as glamorous as we perceive? Let's find out with Yuzuki. Yuzu is beautiful, perceptive, kind, genuine, and she likes to express her emotions through her art. But up until high school, all people ever saw her as is beautiful. It wouldn't do us well to pretend pretty privilege does not exist. Yuzu is very noticeable, and if she wanted to be in a relationship, thousands of people would be knocking at her doorstep, asking for a chance to date her. If she wanted friends, many people would gladly be her friend. But she knew those people only wanted to associate with her because of her looks or her status. Yuzu wanted genuine friendships, not surface validation. She wanted to be around people she could laugh with without worrying about what was brewing beneath the surface. Her issue is the complete opposite of Mika's. Mika is terrified of being seen as invisible, while Yuzu's dazzling appearance has caused a lot of people to be blinded by her looks and ignore who she really is. And she didn't want to be in the spotlight for something she didn't pour her heart and soul into. Yuzu's appearance alone had caused her to be involved in relationship drama, and her kind nature had let envious girls bully her in junior high. Even two of her closest friends now mistakenly judged her based on her looks at first, but thankfully, they stuck around long enough to look past her outer shell. It's funny how Mika and Yuzu, two completely different people who would not have been friends under any other circumstances, found themselves in the same friend group, all thanks to Mitsumi. While Mika and Yuzu struggle with different aspects of beauty standards, Mitsumi offers a refreshing perspective, one that seems to be indifferent to it altogether. In a world obsessed with appearances, Mitsumi has the superpower to see beyond the surface and judge people based on their kindness. You see, she's still aware that someone is good looking, but it doesn't cloud her judgment of that person. If they're kind and genuine, she'll treat them like a friend. And if she sees they're hurtful to those she cares about, she'll quickly and awkwardly step up to defend her friends. But how can Mitsumi be like this? How is she able to remain pure-hearted in a judgmental society? I'm sure you already know the answer. Her friends and family. Mitsumi was born in the countryside where everything was much simpler than the Tokyo city life. She decided to move to Tokyo in high school to fulfill her lifelong plans. Up until then, she had only experienced being in a class with a small amount of people. One of them was her childhood and closest friend, Fumi. Fumi had always played a big role in Mitsumi's life. She acts as a stable foundation whenever Mitsumi starts to feel anxious, even if she is miles away from her. Back when Mitsumi was preparing to take her entrance exams for high school, if you don't know what that means, in Japan, after junior high/middle school, students are required to take exams to get into a high school of their choice. Mitsumi felt great pressure to do well and couldn't eat proper meals. Fumi visits her and takes her out to eat. She then tells Mitsumi that after their exam, they should come back to eat at the same place whether she passes or fails. Mitsumi didn't really think there was a point to celebrating if she failed. To that, Fumi replies with something Mitsumi needs to hear the most.
世の中的にはね。でも挑戦したみつみちゃんにはでっかい意味があるし、それを知っとるうちにもある。
Because Mitsumi has friends and family who love her for who she is and not for what she has to offer like looks, status, or how she makes them look, she's able to find value in herself outside of damaging beauty standards. Just like the scene with Fumi, Mika felt the most seen and appreciated when Mitsumi recognized all of the hard work she put in to get to where she was. Not when she got into a popular club, not when she hung out with popular people, not even when her crush finally complimented her. Similarly, Yuzu wasn't happy that guys would compliment her art so they could get her name or flirt with her. She was the happiest when she realized Makoto listened to her explanation of her art and truly appreciated the love she put into her painting. Just as being pretty won't automatically make you happy, not being pretty doesn't mean you're doomed to have an unfulfilling life. Our experiences may be different from each other, but regardless of appearance, we all want the same thing: for people to love and appreciate who we truly are beneath our outer exterior. Pursuing outer beauty in hopes that you will be more loved would only lead to surface level love for your appearance. I don't mean to say that taking care of yourself and making yourself look pretty is a bad thing, but obsessing over looking more attractive is only a recipe for disaster. What we should be looking for are genuine friendships and relationships with people who see us for who we are. Which one of these three characters do you relate to the most? How have you dealt with the pressure of beauty standards in your own life? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Healthy relationships aren't the only things that help Mitsumi cultivate her self-confidence. Working on her personal goals allow her to build self-trust and confidence. We'll talk more about this in another video explaining why the dynamic between Shima and Mitsumi works so well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.